When we've examined the media landscape in India, we've tended to focus on television news channels. The country has more than 100 of them. This week, though, we're looking at radio and the way it's being used by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The state-owned network, All India Radio, is one of the world's largest. It reaches more than 98% of the country's 1.3 billion people. Once a month, Modi takes the mic. The show's title, Mann Ki Baat, loosely translates to heart to heart. This is an old model. U.S. President Franklin Delano Roosevelt was doing his fireside chats on radio way back in the 1930s. But this is the first time that an Indian prime minister has chosen to speak to the nation regularly in this way. Narendra Modi came to power 2 years ago packing lots of political baggage, and some of his policies have divided Indians. The fact that he's a good media performer helps. However, his most recent move to declare more than 80% of the Indian banknotes in circulation illegal to combat what's been called black money has been very difficult for him to spin, because a good deal of financial chaos ensued. So Modi took to the airwaves and made that issue the subject of his latest program. The Listening Post's Meenakshi Ravi now on the traditional radio broadcast that Modi is using as a workaround, taking him straight to the people.
आकाशवाणी का ये दिल्ली केंद्र है। कृपया हमारे अगले कार्यक्रम की प्रतीक्षा कीजिए। ये आकाशवाणी है।
His media strategy is said to have changed Indian politics. But when Narendra Modi decided to start a monthly broadcast from the Prime Minister's office,
मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों,
he went surprisingly old school.
मैं आज रेडियो के माध्यम से आपसे कुछ मन की बातें बताना चाहता हूँ।
Television's reach is even today in 2016 just 1/6 of where the radio reaches. Radio reaches about 98 point a few percent in the country. Forget about the big cities and metropolitan towns. Go to the countryside. There is television, but there would be more radio.
But I think also this is another reason why Modi has chosen this medium, which is that radio is a much more intimate media than television.
कभी-कभी ऐसा सोचते हैं, छोड़ो यार, लोग बेकार हैं, लोगों को कुछ करना नहीं है, हमारा देश ही ऐसा है। आज मैं कहता हूँ, ये सोच बदलना बहुत जरूरी है।
Modi does give the impression that he is speaking to them almost individually. And of course, for millions and millions of Indians who are just used to politicians coming occasionally at time of elections, making promises and walking away again and never being seen again, here is this Prime Minister who appears to be talking to them individually.
एक तरफ परीक्षा की चिंता और दूसरी तरफ वर्ल्ड कप। खैर दोस्तों, आपकी मुसीबत के समय मैं आपके साथ आया हूँ और मैं आपको कोई उपदेश देने नहीं आया हूँ, ऐसे ही हल्की फुल्की बातें करने आया हूँ।
Previous prime ministers used to take the traditional route of communicating with the people, which is by traditional media via official dump, but there's never been this regular monthly radio address to the nation. It is absolutely a one of a kind.
For the state-run All India Radio Network, Mann Ki Baat has been more than just a programming perk from Modi. It has also boosted ad revenue. The standard rate for 10 seconds of ad time is $22. But during the Mann Ki Baat programming slot, the price jumps to $3,000. Modi and his media strategy team aren't relying just on All India Radio's infrastructure to get the message out. Mann Ki Baat broadcasts are relayed on the state TV network, Doordarshan, and are available to private radio and TV channels, many of whom simulcast the address.
प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी आज अब से कुछ देर बाद एक बार फिर से मन की बात कर रहे हैं।
आज है रविवार का दिन और प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी कर रहे हैं मन की बात।
And in a country that ranks second in the world for mobile phone use, the government has developed a Narendra Modi app that allows users to listen to episodes of Mann Ki Baat on demand in any Indian language of their choice. Listeners can also ring a number that will call them back and replay the latest broadcast. Figures from August this year show the phone service processing 2 million calls a month. For Modi, who has been notorious for avoiding the Indian news media, Mann Ki Baat is an extension of his policy of, quote, direct engagement with the people.
He wants to bypass the press. So he is having a direct communication with the people of India. And he has not chosen the interview mode because he is not trusting the press. Don't forget, he is not trying to connect with the urban masses. I don't need the English press, they don't control the votes. I need to communicate with the Hindi and the regional masses. I will communicate with them.
Prime Minister Modi has this very sophisticated 360-degree direct to the people media strategy. So Mann Ki Baat fits into that beautifully. The moment the Prime Minister announces the date for a forthcoming Mann Ki Baat, immediately All India Radio, mygov.in, they start soliciting suggestions from the people. So you can post a message on mygov.in or in Narendra Modi app.
एक श्रीमान गणेश बैंकरादरी मुंबई के सज्जन, उन्होंने मुझे मेल भेजा.
This is all part of the impression of communicating with the public. But basically the important thing really is the monologue which Modi gives. So you have to remember about Modi that he is a one-man band. Nobody else counts. And therefore as a one-man band, he is the only person who really speaks for the government, and he is the only person who's heard.
To be heard across the country every month in a format he can control, access to huge audiences without questions from pesky reporters has unquestionably been a media masterstroke for Modi. You could say he's just won half the battle though. The second challenge involves persuading those who are listening.
अपनी बात जनता को बताते और वो फायदे की बताते.
भाई कहने को तो वो कुछ कह रहे लेकिन ऐसा हो तो कुछ नहीं रहा.
क्यों जब पत्रकारों से बात क्यों नहीं करते वो? करनी चाहिए उनसे भी.
Modi has never made a secret of his suspicion of the Indian media. There are over 100 news channels in the country, and often the ones getting the big ratings are those putting out high-decibel, sensationalized reporting. Earlier this month, Modi delivered his take on the Indian media.
कल तो मैं देख रहा था किसी टीवी पे लोग पहली तारीख थी तो कतार में खड़े थे परसों, तो सुबह सुबह पहुंच गए और पूछ रहे थे और सवाल भी ऐसे पूछते थे उनको गुस्सा लाने के लिए.
Modi was referring to media reports on his ambitious campaign of what's called demonetization, where high-value currency notes have been scrapped to prevent counterfeiting and money laundering. For more than a month, Indians of all classes have had to struggle with a radically changed monetary landscape, and Modi and his government have been battling negative press.
इस बार जब मैंने मन की बात के लिए लोगों के सुझाव मांगे, तो मैं कह सकता हूं एक तरफा ही सबके सुझाव आए. सब कहते थे कि 500 और 1000 वाली नोटों पर और विस्तार से बातें करें.
On 26th, the issue of counterfeit currency did not appear. So one point on the basis of which he went for demonetization is taken out. Funding for terrorists finds one or two mentions. Black money also finds lesser number of mentions. What replaces it? It is replaced with cashless economy. A new phrase.
लेकिन आज देश जिस महान कार्य को करना चाहता है, हमारा सपना है कैशलेस सोसाइटी. ये ठीक है कि 100% कैशलेस सोसाइटी संभव नहीं होती है, लेकिन क्यों न भारत लेस कैश सोसाइटी की तो शुरुआत करें.
Now the question is, has he explained to the people why we want to go to cashless society? And what happened to his earlier talk about doing away with black money? So this time I don't think he did connect with a lot of people. Because demonetization has thrown everybody's life out of gear. And this Mann Ki Baat, I don't think had much resonance with a lot of people.
Following Modi's latest broadcast, the spokesman for India's main opposition party said Mann Ki Baat should be pulled off the air. The words spoken by the Prime Minister were hollow. That assessment is subjective. It depends on an individual's political leaning. What is undisputable is that in his campaign to build a direct contact with his voter base and circumvent the media, Narendra Modi has gone where no other Indian Prime Minister has ventured. And it doesn't matter that everyone isn't convinced by him all the time. Modi gets uninterrupted airtime with a huge segment of the Indian public. And in the world's largest democracy, that is invaluable.